Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most controversial topics in history, the hidden truths about Jesus Christ. From secret teachings to political intrigues, we'll uncover the secrets that have been buried for centuries. Prepare to question everything you thought you knew about Jesus. Let's get started. Let's start with the secret teachings of Jesus. Did you know that some early Christian texts claim Jesus shared hidden wisdom only with a select few disciples? These teachings, found in the Gnostic Gospels, reveal a different side of Jesus' message. But why were they suppressed by the early church? What were they so afraid of? The Gospel of Thomas, one of the most famous Gnostic texts, contains sayings of Jesus that emphasize personal spiritual knowledge over blind faith. For example, Jesus says, "The kingdom of God is within you and all around you, not in buildings of wood and stone." This idea of finding divinity within oneself was radical and threatening to the institutional church, which sought to control religious knowledge and authority. The church's fear was not just about theological differences, but about maintaining power and control over the burgeoning Christian community. The suppression of Gnostic texts raises questions about the diversity of early Christian beliefs. By exploring these texts, we can gain a deeper understanding of the different interpretations of Jesus' teachings that existed in the early centuries. The Gnostic emphasis on inner knowledge and direct experience of the divine was a significant departure from the hierarchical and dogmatic structure that came to define Orthodox Christianity. What do you think about this hidden wisdom? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Next, let's explore the political landscape during Jesus' time. Jesus lived under Roman occupation, and his teachings often challenged the status quo. But was he merely a spiritual leader, or was there a political dimension to his mission? Did Jesus intend to incite a revolution against Roman rule? The Gospels portray Jesus as a figure who spoke out against corruption and injustice. His actions, such as driving the money changers from the temple, can be seen as acts of political defiance. Some scholars argue that Jesus' crucifixion was not just a religious event but a political execution. The Roman authorities saw him as a threat to their power and dealt with him accordingly. This interpretation suggests a deeper understanding of Jesus as a social reformer and political agitator. Understanding the political context of Jesus' life is crucial for interpreting his actions and teachings. The Roman Empire was known for its brutal suppression of any perceived threat to its authority. Jesus' message of a new kingdom of God, where the last would be first and the first last, directly challenged the social and political order of the day. This revolutionary aspect of his ministry is often overshadowed by the purely spiritual interpretation promoted by later Christian doctrine. Do you think Jesus was a political revolutionary? Let us know in the comments. Moving on, let's delve into the mysterious figure of Mary Magdalene. Often misrepresented as a repentant prostitute, recent discoveries suggest she was much more, a close confidant and perhaps even a leader in the early Christian movement. Could Mary Magdalene have been Jesus' wife? The Gospel of Philip, another Gnostic text, refers to Mary Magdalene as Jesus' companion and hints at a special relationship between them. This challenges traditional views and suggests that early Christianity may have had a more inclusive and egalitarian structure. The idea of Jesus being married was considered heretical and thus erased from Orthodox teachings. Reinterpreting Mary's role provides a fresh perspective on gender dynamics in early Christianity and the potential suppression of female leadership. Mary Magdalene's portrayal in the canonical Gospels is also worth examining. She is one of the few figures mentioned in all four Gospels as being present at Jesus' crucifixion and as a witness to his resurrection. This prominent role indicates her importance within the early Christian community. The later depiction of her as a repentant sinner can be seen as a deliberate attempt to undermine her authority and diminish her influence. What's your take on Mary Magdalene's true role? Share your opinion in the comments. Now, let's turn to the miraculous events surrounding Jesus' life. The Gospels are filled with accounts of miracles, from healing the sick to walking on water. But how should we interpret these stories? Were they literal events, symbolic messages, or perhaps a bit of both? Miracles were a common storytelling device in ancient religious texts, used to demonstrate divine power. For instance, the story of Jesus feeding the 5,000 with 5 loaves and 2 fish can be seen as a metaphor for spiritual abundance and generosity. Understanding these miracles in their historical and cultural context can provide deeper insights into their meanings. These stories may have served to inspire and consolidate the early Christian community's faith and identity. The interpretation of miracles is a topic of much debate among scholars. Some argue that these stories were meant to be understood metaphorically, conveying deeper spiritual truths rather than literal historical events. For example, Jesus healing the blind and the lame can be seen as a metaphor for spiritual enlightenment and the breaking of social barriers. These miracles emphasize Jesus' message of compassion, inclusion, and the transformative power of faith. How do you interpret Jesus' miracles? Let us know in the comments. Finally, let's discuss the concept of Jesus' resurrection. This event is the cornerstone of Christian faith, but it's also one of the most debated topics. Did Jesus really rise from the dead, or was it a symbolic story created to inspire faith among his followers? The resurrection narratives vary among the Gospels, with different accounts of who witnessed it and how it happened. Some scholars argue that the resurrection was a profound spiritual experience rather than a physical event. This interpretation doesn't diminish its significance, but invites us to explore the deeper spiritual truths it conveys. The resurrection can be seen as a powerful symbol of hope, renewal, and the triumph of life over death, which resonated deeply with the early Christian communities. The differing accounts of the resurrection in the Gospels highlight the diversity of early Christian beliefs and experiences. While the physical resurrection of Jesus is a central tenet of Christian doctrine, the spiritual and symbolic aspects of this event are equally important. The resurrection stories reflect the transformative impact of Jesus' life and teachings on his followers, inspiring them to spread his message despite persecution and adversity. What's your perspective on the resurrection? Share your thoughts in the comments. As we uncover these hidden truths about Jesus, it's essential to approach them with an open mind and critical thinking. The historical Jesus and the Christ of faith are complex and intertwined figures. By examining the evidence and exploring different interpretations, we can gain a richer understanding of his life and legacy. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the hidden history of Jesus. If you found this video thought-provoking, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, let's continue seeking the truth together. Reflect on what you've learned today and question the narratives you've always believed. Share your thoughts and engage in the conversation in the comments below.